On Christmas Eve, while the city glittered beneath a winter moon and the penthouse windows reflected 1,000 careless lights, Julian Cross stood alone in a room that felt far larger than it should have, the kind of room built for celebrations but echoing with absence, and as he loosened his tie after another deal sealed and another charity gala escaped early, he noticed a small red envelope tucked beneath the edge of the tree, handwritten and shy, his daughter Lily's careful letters wobbling across the front as if the words themselves were nervous, and he smiled at first because children believed in magic with an honesty adults forgot, yet when he picked it up the paper felt heavier than paper should, as if it carried a truth that had been waiting all year to be spoken. He sat on the carpet, expensive wool that had never known crumbs or toys, and unfolded the letter meant for Santa, the man who owned towers and time and influence suddenly kneeling like a guest in his own home, and Lily's voice rose from the page so clear it felt like she was standing there, writing about how she had tried to be good and how she loved her school and her dolls and how she hoped Santa was warm tonight, and Julian's smile softened until it paused on a sentence that made his breath itch. Because Lily wrote that she didn't want toys this year and didn't want dresses or trips or even the puppy she'd circled in catalogs with the excitement of a child who believed wishes could be ordered. She wrote that she only wanted her daddy to come home before bedtime, to eat dinner with her without checking his phone, to listen when she told stories that wandered and repeated because she liked the sound of his laugh, to read one more chapter even when his eyes were tired, to be there when she woke from bad dreams, and as Julian read on, the words became a mirror that reflected years he'd hidden behind achievements and applause, moments traded for milestones that looked impressive on paper but hollow in memory, and Lily's letter did not accuse him, children rarely do, but it asked him gently, with the kind of hope that assumes love is inevitable, and that was what broke him, because the letter thanked Santa in advance for bringing my daddy back, and Julian's hands trembled as tears blurred the ink, and he realized that the richest men in rooms he entered had been poor where it mattered most, that he had confused providing with presents and protection with participation, and he saw the nights Lily waited by the window, the mornings she learned to pack her own lunch, the birthdays celebrated between meetings, and the echo of his own childhood returned to him, the father who worked late and loved quietly and promised soon, and how Julian had sworn to be different, and yet the same patterns had crept in wearing a better suit. The room seemed to hold its breath as he folded the letter back with reverence, pressing it to his chest as if it were a fragile heart, and he heard Lily's small footsteps in the hallway, the soft shuffle of pajamas, and she appeared at the doorway rubbing her eyes, asking if Santa had come yet, and Julian, still kneeling, opened his arms and she ran into them without hesitation, trusting him the way children do, and he whispered an apology she didn't ask for, promising changes she couldn't measure yet, and he carried her to the couch and listened to her talk about reindeer and snow and how Santa might like cookies with extra chocolate, and he listened, not with half an ear but with the full attention of a man who had nearly lost something priceless without ever seeing it slip, and when Lily fell asleep against his shoulder, he didn't move, even as his phone buzzed with urgent messages and opportunities that would wait, because this moment would not, and as dawn crept into the sky he made quiet decisions that would redraw his life, canceling trips, delegating meetings, scheduling dinners that could not be moved, blocking time that belonged to bedtime stories and breakfasts, understanding at last that success measured in presents multiplied, and on Christmas morning when Lily woke to find her father still there, still smiling, still listening, she didn't need to check under the tree to know her wish had been answered, because magic sometimes looks like a man choosing to stay, and years later Julian would keep that letter framed in his office not as a trophy but as a compass, a reminder that love is spelled in time, and that the greatest legacy a parent leaves is not wealth but memories that feel safe to return to. And if this story touched your heart the way Lily's letter touched Julian's, remember to subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories that remind us what truly matters, because every subscription helps us share more moments that inspire, heal, and bring families closer together.